Hello everyone, welcome back to VBA sessions number 2, and in this video we will learn these topics and will show how to write macros. Before writing a macro, first make sure that developer tab is added. If developer tab is not visible, please watch this video. Now in developer tab, go to Visual Basic Editor or press Alt F11. Now right click on the project and under insert, select module. Now we can add multiple modules if required. Now we are ready to write a macro. The macros are written inside a sub procedure or a function. To write a sub procedure, type keyword sub, any name, and press enter. Now we will write macro inside this sub procedure. Similarly, we can create function, type keyword function, any function name, and press enter. The difference is that function can return a value, whereas sub procedure can't return value. I have created a user form in Excel and added the button using form controls in insert option under developer menu. Create the similar form so that we can work together and we will make this form fully functional. Now to interact with the Excel sheet from VBA, we have to use the object hierarchy. So now to write the macro in developer tab using Visual Basic, go to the VBA editor. Now we have already created a sub procedure. The object hierarchy used is application dot workbooks dot worksheets dot range. Now here application is Microsoft Excel. Workbooks is the collection of all the Excel files. Worksheet is the collection of all the sheets within the Excel file, and range refers to the cell, and dot is used in between these objects. Now, as we are writing macros in Excel, there is no need to use the application object, so I'm removing it. Also, currently we are working in a single Excel workbook, hence there is no need to use workbooks objects also. So the hierarchy would be worksheets dot range if we are working in a single Excel file. Now again, here worksheets refer to the collection of sheets. Hence, to refer a particular sheet, we will specify the sheet name. So after worksheets, type open bracket and in double quotes specify the worksheet name. In our Excel sheet, the sheet name is user form. So type user form in double quotes, closing bracket, and in the range, we will specify the cell which we want to use in our macro. So if I specify C2 in double quotes in the brackets, now this line refers to the C2 cell of user form sheet. In VBA, message box is used to display any information. To use the message box, type MSG box space and then to show the value of C2 cell of user form sheet, we will write this value after message box. This macro is getting value of range C2 of user form sheet and will show in a message box. To run the macro from VBA, either press F5 key or use run option. This run option is visible in the run menu also. Before executing, place your cursor anywhere in the sub procedure, press F5 and message box is showing the value available in cell C2. In VBA also, we use variables to store the value in memory and then we can use it later in the program. To store the name which is available in C2 cell, we can create a variable called employee name and then we can store the value of cell C2 in employee name variable. Now in message box, we can directly use the variable name to show value available in range C2 of user form. Run the macro and it will show the value of C2 cell. Now in VBA, it is not mandatory to declare the variables before using it in a sub procedure. because VBA use the default data type variant and it changes the data type according to what we are doing with the variables. But if we are not declaring a variable, it will make the program slow. So always declare the variables in VBA. Dim keyword is used to declare the variable. So before using the variable name, declare it using dim keyword, type dim, the variable name as, and then we specify the data type of the variable. The data type of variable can be one of the following. For text type values, data type string is used. Now cell C2 contains the employee name, which is a text, so the data type of the variable will be string. In the form, we have age and salary field also. To get the value of age and salary, so declare two other variables to store age and salary. So dim employee age as, now the value of age can't be more than 100, so we can use data type byte. Remember, byte can't store negative values. Declare the variable to store the salary of the employee, so employee salary as, now the salary can be more than 32,767, so data type should be long. Now if salary can be in decimal, then we have to use data type double. Now to store the age, define the variable name equals to, and then you can use the similar hierarchy of objects. The age is available in C3 cell, and similarly the salary is available in C4. So I'm copying the value and just changing C3 to C4, changing the variable name to employee salary. Now these three line is storing the name, age and salary of the employee from cell C2, C3 and C4 cells of user form sheet. Byte can't store the negative numbers and can't be more than 255. If we enter a negative value or value more than 255, then the macro will throw the overflow error. But we know that age can't be more than 100, so we can keep it as a byte, or you can make it to integer also. To show the values of all the three variables in message box, we can use concatenation character ampersand or plus sign. It's a good practice to use ampersand for the concatenation and plus for addition operation. So in our macros, we will use ampersand for concatenation. In the message box, I am concatenating age and the salary of the employee. Type ampersand and then employee age and then ampersand and then employee salary. Now press F5 to run the macro. The message box will show the value of all the three variables, name, age and the salary together, but we are unable to differentiate the values. So we can add some text in the message box. We will add your name in double quotes, ampersand as a concatenation character and the variable name. Remember, the text which you want to display as is must be in double quotes and the variable names must be without double quotes. Similarly, before age, we'll specify your age in double quotes, ampersand sign to concatenate, and similarly, before showing the salary, your salary and ampersand sign. Now execute the macro using F5 or run. Now it will show the name, age and salary in specified manner. Now in message box, to display the result in different lines, we can use VBA built-in constants which insert a line break and display the text in a new line. So in message box, to show these three information in separate lines, we will use VBA built-in constant VB new line. So after showing the employee name, we'll type VB, select VBA new line, press a space and it will select the same. Press concatenation character. Now we can use the same VBA new line after showing the age. So the salary will be displayed in third line. Now Run the macro using F5 for run command. Now the message box will display all the three information in three different lines. Now in VBA, we can use line continuation character to make lengthy expression easier to read. Remember, there is no change in the result due to the line continuation character. To break this lengthy line into two lines, press space, underscore character and press enter. Now this line is divided into two lines and it is easier to read. Again, there is no change or impact in the result. So if I run the program, the result will remain same. In VBA, the variable declaration is not mandatory, but if you want that in your program, all variables must be declared before using, then use option explicit in the beginning of the module. Now, if you use any variable without declaring it, VBA will throw error. So I've removed the declaration of the salary. Now, if I execute the macro, VBA will throw error that variable not defined. You can customize the VBA environment. Go to Tools and select Options. Keep all setting as is because it would help you to write the macros. Select the second option, Require Variable Declaration, and click OK. Now, if you add a new module, it will automatically add option explicit keyword. Now we can declare the variables within the sub procedure or outside the sub procedure. If variable is declared inside the sub procedure, the scope of variable will be the sub procedure only. It means we can't use these variables in any other sub procedure or function. But if we declare the variables outside the subroutine, then the scope will be the module. It means we can use these variables in any sub procedure within this module. I am declaring these two variables outside the subroutine and employee name is declared inside the show data procedure. I have created another sub procedure and using the same macro inside another sub procedure. Now put your cursor in another procedure and run the macro. VBA will throw error. The variable employee name is not defined because the scope of employee name variable is show data procedure. It means we can't use employee name outside the show data sub procedure. Always reset the program if an error occurs. Now we are declaring this variable also outside the sub procedure. Now put your cursor in another procedure and run the macro, will not get any error. Similar to variables, we can declare the constants also. The value of constant can't be changed in the module. So for an example, to show the bonus percentage as a constant, we can define a constant for bonus, type keyword const, any name bonus percentage as the data type is integer equals to the bonus is 10 percentage. Now in sub procedure, if we try to change the value of bonus percentage, VBA will throw error. Run the macro, the VBA will throw error, assignment to constant not permitted. After getting any error, make sure you press reset button. Now in VBA for arithmetic operations, we use these symbols. Now let's see how can we use these operators in our macro. I have created another sheet called details in which text percentage is mentioned in B2 cell. Now to get the value of text percentage from sheet into the VBA, we will use the object hierarchy. First declare the variable as text percentage. So dim text percentage as integer. And to get the value from the sheet, we will use the hierarchy. The sheet name is details dot range and text value is available in B2 cell. So now the text percentage value is in this variable. Now to calculate the total text of an employee, Again, first we will declare a variable total text as double because the text can be a decimal value. And in the module, to calculate the total text, we'll use employee salary, multiply the salary by the text percentage and divide the value by 100. Similarly, we can calculate the bonus of the employee. So declare a variable total bonus as double, and to calculate in total bonus is equal to employee salary multiply by bonus percentage divided by 100. Now we can show the text and bonus value in the message box. So I'm writing another message box, total text as a string, ampersand total text variable. For next line, type constant VB new line, ampersand total bonus, ampersand and the variable name total bonus. Comment this message box so it will not be executed. Now run the macro and it will show the text and the bonus value. Now instead of showing the value in message box, we can write the values in Excel sheet itself. In user form, cell C10, C11 and C12 is for bonus, text and total salary. To show the value of bonus in C10, again we will use the hierarchy. So I'm copying the formula, range C10 equals to total bonus. Similarly, in C11 we will write the total text, and in C12 we will show the total salary, which will be employee salary plus total bonus minus total tax. Comment the message box line so that the macro will not execute this. Attach this macro with button show details. So right click the button, click on assign macro, select show data, click OK, press show details button, and the macro will display the bonus, text and total salary. Change the value, show details, and the bonus, text and total salary will change. The default property of range object is value. So if you want, you can use value after the range. Range object has another method, clear contains. Clear contains method deletes the content of the range but keeps the formatting as is. In our form, we want that on pressing clear content button, the data filled in cell C2 to C8 and cell C10 to C12 should be clear. So in VBA, we will make another sub procedure, clear data, and will use clear contains method of range object. So worksheets, the worksheet name is user form dot range cell C2 to C12 dot clear contains. Now attach this macro to button clear contain. So right click the clear contain, select assign macro and select clear data. Click OK. Now when I press clear content, it will clear the cell values. Another method of range object is clear, which clears the content as well as the formatting of the cells. Instead of using clear contains, if we use clear method and then press the clear content button, it will not only clear the content but the cell formatting also. Another method of range object is delete, which deletes the specified range. So I have created another sub procedure delete data. We have another worksheet database. To delete the third row, type worksheets. The sheet name is database and dot range in open bracket. We will specify 3:3, which indicates the third row, dot delete. Attach the macro with the delete button. Right click the delete button, select assign macro, select delete data macro and click OK. Click on delete button and in database sheet the third row is deleted. We will add more functionality to delete a specific row in the coming videos. Now we have already created the database sheet and we want to add the data filled in the form to database sheet on pressing the button add. The data should be added in the next available blank row. So the first time data should be added in the second row, then in third row and so on. So in this case, first we have to check the database sheet and identify the first empty row. Now in VBA editor, create another sub procedure, add data. Remember, for each and every operation, we are creating a different sub procedure so that we can divide our program into small modules and it will be easy to debug the program if there is any error coming, or in future if we want to modify, we can go to a particular sub procedure and make the required changes. First we have to identify the blank row, so create a variable to store the blank row number, dim blank row as integer. To identify the first blank row in the database sheet, use this line. Rows.count will give you the total number of rows, and the AND_XLF method will select the last filled row of column A, and the row property will give the row number of that last filled cell. So we have added +1 to give you the first empty row. Now we have identified the row number of the first blank row. To move the name from cell C2 of user form to first blank row of column A of database sheet, type worksheets database range A, and then we will use blank row is equal to put the value from C2 cell, use worksheets user form dot range, cell number is C2. Now this line will put value of cell C2 in user form into the column A of first blank row in database sheet. Similarly, we can store the value of age and salary. So I'm just copying the line for age and salary. The age is in C3 and salary is in C4. Now this age should be stored in the B column and salary should be in C column. Now after adding, we can display a message box to user. Type message box data has been added. Now attach this macro with add button. So right click, assign macro, select add data macro, click OK. Now click add button. The message box is displayed. Go to the database sheet and the data has been added. Similarly, if I press add button again, it will show the message box, and if you go into the database sheet, the new data is entered in a new line. The other properties of range object are font and interior. Font returns the font object, which has different properties like bold, italic, underline, name, size, color. Similarly, interior has their own properties. Now you can check these properties of font object in Object Browser. Go to the Visual Basic Editor and press F2. It will open the Object Browser. Type font, select, and in the classes, double click on font and it will open all the properties of the font. To switch from Object Browser to Visual Basic Editor, press F7. Suppose we want that after adding the data, the font color and the cell color should be changed. Font and interior both are properties of the range object. So worksheets and user form sheet use range. So specify C2 colon C8 in double quotes dot font dot, the property is color, which is mentioned in RGB format, which has three arguments: red, green and blue. The value is in the range of 0 to 255. To change the font color to red, we'll mark first parameter as 255, rest will be 00, comma. Similarly, to make the font as bold and italic, we can use the bold property and italic property, and the value can be true or false. So I'm marking it as a true. To change the cell color to yellow, we can use the interior property of range. So this range dot interior dot color, then RGB. Now if I press add button, it will display the message box, and the font color and the cell color and the style will change as per the specification. And as an assignment, complete the form for other fields, declare variables for them, and make sure when we press clear content, it will clear all the cells. When you click on add button, all the values should be added into the database. Now in next video, we will learn other properties and methods, if statement, loops, and apply the validations on these fields. And we will write macros for delete, modify, and search button. If you like the content, press thumbs up, share with your friends and colleagues, subscribe the channel, and press bell icon to get the notifications. Share your comments, feedbacks, and queries in comment section so that I can clear your doubts. Thanks for watching.